Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Spin from the Real. I am Jeff, aka Quiz Show. They decided to put me in the top left today, which I guess means anchor host. I don't know. This is a mistake. But with me today, we have the founder, the co-founder of the channel, and the originator from this show, Allison. Of course, I'm not talking about Allison. It's Matt Thomas there in the top right. How you doing tonight, Matt?
I'm doing all right. I'm surviving. I just got to get through work the next couple of days.
You sound
been
like
a rough
every
day.
American.
It's been a rough day.
Still sounds like every American. And Allison Salamoni,
the diversity hire
on loan from Flickin' Real podcast right now. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing wonderful, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing splendid. Fantastic. Splendiferous. I'm fine. Anyways, so, it's another Monday, beginning of June. And this past Friday, we happened to have a Friday Night Titans match with the Schmodown. So why don't we just get right into it? Because we had some very big personalities that happened to be on that show. And two of them were kind enough to be popped through or to stop through and spend some time with us. So first up, we happen to have with us the THE Paul Preston.
I got it.
I'm in charge.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello. How you doing?
What's up, gang?
Nothing
going?
much.
Why is your show called this?
I don't
Spin
know.
from the Real?
Yeah.
Because it's the Watt Real Entertainment Network, and it was something Chris and I came up with because Christian always says spin from the wheel, not the peg. So we're like, real wheel? Sounds like let's go for it.
And then I came on board, and we brought in our own digital wheel.
And it's called Watt, which stands for Who Are They? Because every time you meet them, you forget them right away. So next time you see them, you're like, who are they?
You just introduced them, and already it's gone.
I know. Speaking of introductions, you're only
Thomas
one
somebody
half of
you're
only one half of the movie guys.
I am.
I know
nearly
you guys
that.
just finished another episode of your stream show, Movie Nonsense, and now let's bring in that other host, Adam Witt.
He is 3/4 of the movie guys. Come on, he's so bashful. It gives me credit. Let me be half of the movie guys.
Adam's here. Oh, somebody I've heard of. Thank you.
No WAT here, right here.
What?
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 What? Yeah, you guys really need to play into that.
What? Yeah.
All right, Lil John. So anyways, yeah, I this is the first, they're throwing me in the lion's den telling me that I'm hosting, but they have like a specific format they started doing, and I only jumped in here recently doing stuff. So Matt or Allison, can you please just explain whatever it is the format is? Because the last couple of weeks we've kind of slacked.
Yeah.
And I'm not
By the way, let me
necessarily
just say, if you're thrown into the in charge of the show host position, the best way to lead is with a disclaimer for your inability to lead. So you're doing great, Jeff.
You're crushing
Hey,
it.
This is the best way to.
Oh, hey, now Matt's leading. Go.
No,
not for long.
So the way that,
look at this. Okay, I see. Now I get the premise.
Yeah, so now we have a fun little, we started a digital wheel, has a bunch of cool topics to talk about, some
Ooh,
Schmodown
I like
related,
this.
some not Schmodown related. So for this week's wheel, we have our typical ones that we have in here, cutting the scenes, where we talk about these cut scenes, turning to the next chapter, the first teams match, starring Mr. Ford. That's going to be a really fun slice if we get on that one. That was kind of like we did this with Mark Ellis, only with Molly, where I'm going to throw some movies out there. If you guys could cast Harrison Ford in that movie as any character, you'll let me know. Top 3. Wrong answer, Hall of Fame. This is in honor of Beth Mays. Round 3, 3-pointer. DiMolanta rides again. Wild card. Don't know what that'll be. And then the movement causes a system malfunction. Talking about the movement versus the system. So Matt will go ahead and give it a spin and not try to rig it at all, because that's not what's happening.
Spin from the reel, not the dregs.
Single...
Yeah, I thought you
on
should
every
be spinning
single
from the
episode.
What?
Top 3.
Top 3. All right,
Well,
gentlemen.
I am one of the top 3 people on the movie, guys. Paul is the first 2. Is that what we're talking about? Is that what this means?
Hey, all right. First of all, you just said he's 3/4. Now you just said he's 2/3. I think what you need to do is go back, check your
You need
math,
to
return.
I mean, then again, that is the Ohio school system.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go. Hey-o.
Certainly
All right.
the Southwestern.
Oh, trust me, it's the Northeastern too.
All right, top 3. So the way that this works is I'm just gonna throw some things out to you guys. You're just gonna give me your top 3 of what they are. So first and foremost, obviously, with the Ford Fiesta fans, and big old Harrison Ford fans, top 3 Harrison Ford movies.
Top 3 Harrison Ford movies.
I got that, I think.
Go for it.
Number 1 is Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's my favorite film of all time. It's perhaps the greatest movie ever made. Number 2 is probably The Empire Strikes Back, especially because we just recorded half the episode for that, for the Ford Fiesta, which will be coming up. It'll be Apocalypse Now with John Kaiser, and then Empire Strikes Back with Chance Ellison.
Nice.
So so going over that show so recently again, going over that film again so recently for the Ford Fiesta, I'm like, there's so much going on there in the development of Harrison Ford as an icon that Raiders establishes in really his first solo lead success role. So I think those are your 1 and 2. 3, God, do I love Working Girl, but I think I got to step out. I mean, no, what am I saying? This is all wrong. Forget it. Go back. Raiders, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. I wasn't going to put something else outside the Star Wars realm, but I can't. The Fugitive would have been it, but it's Raiders, Star Wars, Empire.
Journey to Shiloh doesn't crack the list, huh?
6 Days, 7 Nights. No, not on there.
I mean,
No,
I'm honestly, I'm just surprised that you didn't put Extraordinary Measures on the list.
So that
Big
the plane.
Extraordinary?
That's about right. That's about where
That sounds like That sounds like the only place that movie would be distributed.
And did you say Get Off of My Plane? That movie?
I did not, but I almost walked out on Catwoman, which I also saw on a plane. And
Oh,
You almost walked off the plane.
it was bad.
Almost walked out.
That's the joke, Allison.
Went over my head. It's fine. Smoked a lot of.
So did the plane.
no one wants to talk about regarding Henry. No one. No?
My 12th grade English teacher showed us regarding Henry, and then I didn't realize until 10 years later. I'm like, wait a minute, J.J. Abrams wrote that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look at that 80s for Ford though. Before regarding Henry, I mean, right now we just covered Empire. Then it's Raiders, Blade Runner, Jedi, Temple of Doom, Witness, Mosquito Coast, Frantic, Working Girl. I mean, and the Crusade. It's an incredible decade, like nearly unmatched. You know.
If you just want to borrow,
it's a
or
tough
you
pick
never,
in there, but I
so
think
if you-
my top 3 is solid for Adam.
So what were your top 3? It was Raiders, Empire,
Raiders, Star Wars, Empire.
Raiders, Star Wars, Empire. Okay, let me just because I mean those are I don't know if anything I would have would top those. I mean those are the top 3 Harrison Ford movies pretty much for me too. Let me just give you mine might be in a slightly different order there. Let me just give you 4, 5, and 6. So we got to go. I mean Fugitive,
Sure.
Return of the Jedi, and oh, you know what? I'll go with Forced In from Navarone because I do enjoy that movie.
By the way, I see AJ says, surprised not to see More American Graffiti on the list, but tune into our Ford Fiesta episode of that, and you'll hear William Bibiani
Bibiani.
So you probably
sing
got
the
Bibiani for
praises
that.
of More American Graffiti.
He
And then
loves
upon
it more
watching
than
it
the
for the
original.
first time, I get where he's coming from. That movie is ambitious as
Very.
hell.
And
Even though
she's-
it doesn't always work, it is certainly points for shooting high.
And, Harrison Ford, even if he has a tiny role, like in that or Apocalypse Now, there's always a point and a shout. He gets one into everything. It's insane. Frisco Kid, a lot of people haven't seen it. He points and shouts like 27 times in that movie. It's great.
You listen here. Yeah, it's great.
I'll say when you guys get to Blade Runner, if you just all want to cut in some audio from our episode of You Never Seen It, you're more than welcome to.
This
Just
is
borrow
right.
it. Just
This is right. Coming up on your show, we hopped in for
week.
some Blade Runner.
Yeah, next week. Next week,
Okay.
the whatever the next Tuesday is, the 14th. That'll be It'll be.
Yeah,
I don't know
what's
where
the
Jeff
show?
went.
What the hell's wrong with you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
that's it.
Yeah.
100%.
What is wrong with you? Why haven't you seen this? I hate you. Isn't that the full title?
That's exactly what it is.
That's how people can feel about it. Yeah,
That's exactly what it
has to reboot his computer real quick. He just sent us a
All
message.
right. Well, next up in our top three, we're gonna kind of take this back a little bit Schmodown related. What are your top three past, present players in your mind within the Schmodown?
Top three favorite players?
Favorite, or who you think are the best or have been the best?
Who am I
This is where rivalries start. Ready, set, go.
This is where someone gets upset if their manager doesn't say them.
Paul Preston. No, I honestly, I think, without any bias, like Paul Preston absolutely would be one of my favorite players. I'd say even if I were not even connected, I'd be like, I like that guy's style. So I'll go Paul Preston. I've always loved Mike Kalinowski. Mike Kalinowski he's just good at the two ends of the game. He's good at trivia, and the guy's just entertaining. Well, I got to say I do have an affinity for Robert Parker. I'll throw Robert Parker in there. I'm sure there's others if I thought down the line, but those first three come to mind there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Paul? And no, you can't name yourself.
I mean, there's hardly anyone who has a more knowledgeable database of films in their head than Bibiani.
Oh, I know, right?
Sure.
I mean, it's just crazy. You could mention 4 movies. You go, I have a theory about that. And then they'll tell you something. It's like most people don't know those, and you have already developed a theory about these, whatever, 80s throwaway movies that...
And also what's funny about that, because we just did a Schmodown shoot, and whenever you're at a shoot, and there's conversations in the hallways, obviously, we got all these movie geeks around, and this just happened, like, Paul and I are talking about some movie, and then you just hear, like, off in the distance, it's actually superior to the original, or whatever, you're like, oh, how did he hear us from all the way over there? It's very funny.
William Bibiani, king of the actually down the hall.
Yeah.
Actually superior than the original.
Yeah. Back to what I'm doing, but yeah, it's like a spider sense for like movie conversations going on.
Right,
It's
and
very
then
funny.
and then here he's telling another guy what's wrong with the thing.
Right.
2 things going on.
In the few conversations, there's Jeff. There's Jeff. In the few conversations I've had with Bibbs, he's always been great to just. He always has good reasoning and backing his argument up, which is something I love.
So knowledgeable, yeah. He backs it up with lots of fact. And it's like, and you actually know that this movie came before this, and therefore the style's actually taken more from. It's great. It's a whole education. It's a grad school every time just talking to him.
I might say Kalinowski too, just for the trio of belts he could pursue. It's really impressive.
Yeah.
And he's just funny. Guy's just funny.
Yeah. And then I just had somebody else in mind who I enjoy. Crap, it went away.
Well, and I'll say also that Kalinowski Batman match he did with Smets. I mean, it's just like he's so funny.
I love his Michael Caine impression. I'm always really sad when there's a match that goes on and he doesn't get to do it. So good.
Yeah, that guy's been in so many movies. You'd think one wouldn't go by. And yet.
Without a Michael Caine question, I know you would think that they would purposely put one in every match just for him to do that. I would. Need PJ to get on it. I'm just kidding.
I'll text him right now.
Tell him. Let him know. Let him know how I feel. Okay. With that,
and let me say, my current competitor, JTE, he beat me. And we're having a good run in teams. And it's just surprising because sometimes you see him screw up and you go, what's wrong with that guy? And then he'll pull out the craziest, like deep cut thing that you had no idea, and he'll impress the whole room.
I gotta say though, and managing him and getting closer to him and stuff like that, like when he does a classic JTE, I just love how on brand his misses are. He doesn't just miss. He says, what was the one he said?
Green book. No, green room.
Oh, right.
Green book.
Green room. Saying green room. I'm like, that is not just a miss. That is a brilliant miss.
Those movies are not alike.
Jupiter descending. Jupiter descending.
Never
Jupiter descending.
You can never forget Geppetto. Geppetto.
And yet, I turned to him at the end of the match and I went, I don't know this 5-pointer. And he went, the peanut butter falcon. And I went, that is absolutely it. I know that's it. You're totally right. And then we had it.
Awesome.
Great movie.
Which is
I
good,
love the
'cause
Peanut
then-
Butter Falcon.
I love the peanut butter falcon.
Oh, it's so
That's
good.
a splendid movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful.
The match
movie.
before I did that for him with Oblivion. So we're a good team.
Hey,
I mean, it's funny. What was it? You guys got Harrison Ford in round 3, and I think he looked at you to do it, and I'm like, well, of course it's going to be Paul to do it.
Of course it's gonna be
There's
Paul.
the whole Ford Fiesta
You know, it's
thing.
a 2-pointer, but yeah. So if I missed
Yeah.
the 2-pointer, then it's like take my hosting away.
take the
Hosting
Ford
duties
Fiesta away
away.
from you.
It's like,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
So
I would-
it's like
I would
you
not
gotta
fight.
do it for that.
I would not fight that.
We'll do another top 3. I gotta ask because you have a wonderful movie tour that you do out in LA, Paul. What are your personal top 3 locations that you take people to on that tour?
Oh.
Well, Nakatomi Plaza for one.
There you
Die
go.
Hard.
Sure.
It's
There
it's
you
actually
go.
a building that's part of 20th Century Studios, and I shot. I don't have a huge acting career, but I did shoot a show called Cooper Barrett's Guide to Surviving Life, and I was an FBI guy following the main characters around the whole episode. And at the end, they spot me, and then they figure out that they're being watched. But they shot a scene in front of this library. It wasn't a library; it was like a casting director's office. But they dressed it up so it's like a library. And I'm just kind of standing there watching the stars do some stuff, and the light was perfect. And I said, "Oh, let's light this now. Let's shoot right now," because the light was reflecting off of that building, lighting my scene. I'm being lit by Nakatomi Plaza.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's awesome, and I hope that's not a hostage. So, but that place is cool, and who doesn't dig that? So that's one. I always like going to the building that Riggs jumped off of.
Love
and
it.
kept himself to
That's
the
my
jumper
favorite.
in-
That's my
yeah,
favorite.
on Santa Monica in West Hollywood. Let's see.
And that's a twofer, as you've said, because not only is that the building Riggs jumped from, right across the tiny street there is the building that Murtaugh yells at him in. Get over here!
Yeah, you want to die? What do you want to hear, man?
What do you want to hear, man?
Literally in the storefront across the street.
That's awesome.
The other it's probably a tie after that. There's so many great locations, But okay, it's a 3-way tie. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cheat because it's Marty McFly's house. Not just because the house is still there. It looks a little different, but it even has the power towers behind it with the power lines.
Mhm.
But as soon as you turn that corner, and you hit the music just right, it is the final shot of the movie. The trees look the same, and you expect to fly up and then turn around and then just like go into camp. So that's legendary. And the same with it's the same with E.T. So Elliot's house from E.T. You go up and up a hill. You're in the middle of nowhere, and you go up and up a hill. Well, you're not in the middle of nowhere, but you're on the edge of nowhere because, as you know, behind his house is like nothing but the fields where E.T. comes out of, and they think it's coyotes. So, but there's like suburbs, and there's Elliot's house, and you're like, which is cool. And I bust out the Reese's Pieces, and we have some fun. And then the third would be probably Andy's house from Pretty in Pink, because when I showed it to my late wife, she just started crying. And and it's literally, she's like, it's literally across the tracks.
It is.
And it literally, the train track is right there. And so anytime that reaction, it's like, well, this is immediately one of my favorite places, even though I like that movie, but just that memory is like, this is amazing.
Of course.
That's what movies can do.
Absolutely.
I just have to drop in at the end of this that my regular commute when I first lived in Koreatown would be down Beverly Street past Vermont. And I realized when I finally rewatched Lethal Weapon that my commute had gone under the bridge where Riggs jumps off the bridge. Mr. Josh was driving underneath it. Riggs gets hit by the car, goes, "Stop, you son of a bitch!" And then as he's chasing Joshua, and I love Lethal Weapon so much that I was just like, oh my God, because you could see the Western Exterminator sign in the back when Riggs is at the top of the bridge. So I looked and I realized, I'm like, oh, this is the bridge from that. But it's such a small scene, but I'm like, for me, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And look, you always notice the things that you love about movies if they're in areas that you're around. Just like I always
And if you watch them over and
recognize
over,
Or and then it's like the opposite is true too, because like Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. They're going to a White Castle in Cherry Hill. I grew up in Cherry Hill. There is no cliff that you can hang glide off. There's never been a White Castle there. But if
My cousin Vin,
I'd be like, oh my god, it's the one from the movie.
my
Cherry
cousin
Hill,
Vinny was
Ohio?
not filmed in Alabama.
Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. I used to live in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Wow, crazy.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, there's no cliff there. You're right.
White Castle.
All right, last top 3, and I feel like I just have to ask this. Both of you, your top 3 John Williams scores.
Oh. Well, I've had some interactions with Mr. Williams, actually.
Oh.
Yes, I have. My top 3. Come on,
Adam, go into details because this is.
Don't leave us hanging on that.
This is really
What?
cool, actually. So.
I've actually edited video pieces for the Hollywood Bowl for John Williams concerts.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and even once I got to go over to DreamWorks and show him the piece, which was like, I went into the office and I looked over at the piano and I was like, do you know what's been written on that piano? And then got to show him the piece and like I'm gauging reactions. I'm like, does he like it? Does he like it? And
That's so cool.
most of the time he's sort of, he's really engrossed in it. He's very close to the piece of music, obviously. But then just once, maybe twice, I got a, ooh. And I was like, oh, I'll dine on that for the rest of my life. Like that moment where you go, ooh. So, yeah.
Amazing.
You ever
So
go
that's
up to
pretty
him and
exciting.
just be like, I love your work on Valley of the Dolls?
I was like, Images. Play something from Images.
That's right.
Robert Altman's
Images.
Images.
You did Images.
Yeah. But none of them hold a candle to Superman, the movie. Oh, my God.
My husband and I,
Superman,
our
the movie.
entrance to our wedding reception was the opening crawl from Superman.
Oh, my gosh, man. And just every single little beat in that main theme, that dun 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 dun, the ba 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 ba. It's like there's so much going on there that it is basically everything I believe in film. Like when I see a Marvel movie, if they make me feel like I'm listening to the Superman theme, I'm like, you have done your job. Even if the score doesn't have that. So that for me, Superman the movie, holy shit. Star Wars. The great thing about Star Wars is it is 12 tracks, any of which could be the full theme for a full movie, and you would be perfectly satisfied.
Yep.
That is the amazing trick. And he's like, because even at that time, someone would do a main theme, and they would just repeat that theme. You see old movies, and you just go, oh, there's the theme again. There's the theme
John
again.
Williams
There's
like,
the theme again.
nope.
Yeah. He's like, no, let me.
John Williams didn't have to go that hard, but we are thankful for it.
Did not have to go that hard. And now I really feel like pulling an alt out because those are obviously 2 big hits. Let me just say something I worked on for his Hollywood Bowl 2 years ago, the BFG, an underappreciated movie. So I'm just going to say the BFG. That may not be number 3, but I'm going to say it because people have slept on the BFG, and it is Spielberg doing kid stuff and imagination stuff and the sort of Tim Burton-y, like, where does the snow come from? Well, Edward Scissorhands creates it up on the hill. It's like, where do dreams come from? Well, they are on a tree that you pick, and that's why kids have dreams. I'm like, that is a way to go for Spielberg and Williams. So yeah,
I have to rewatch that movie for sure.
So you're saying it's since 2010 fucked.
Yeah, up until today, it was my least favorite Spielberg movie that I've seen. Until today, when I finally rewatched Lost World, which is also not the best for John.
No, but the score rocks.
The score was fine,
score
but I think it's because
rocks.
I watched it back to back with Jurassic Park, and that score is
that score is amazing. That's probably in my top 3. That one, Hook, is another one from John Williams that I'm just obsessed with.
Hook is quite good.
I love Hook. Oh, it's so pretty. And yeah, I think
let's not sleep on Catch Me If You Can. Also,
No,
because
that
Catch
one's
Me If You
also
Can is
God.
fantastic. That's when he gets to go into his jazz roots too.
old school Jazzy John, right? Johnny Williams, as he used to be called. That's
Johnny
old
Williams.
school Jazzy John, and I like that for John this far into his career to go like, all right, we're going pure Jazzy John. I'm the piano player from the Johnny Staccato as well. Let's not forget,
Absolutely.
I think you're all sleeping on. Hold on,
Hook.
I think you're all sleeping on Goodbye,
I have
Mr. Chips.
Oh,
Right
Jesus
back there.
Christ.
No, we're sleeping on Minnesota breaks. Is what we're sleeping
I
on.
think we all need to remember that he got his
Harry
first
Potter and the
Oscar.
Prisoner of Azkaban. Don't forget.
Oh, yeah,
that
Harry
one.
Potter,
That
of
is
course.
slept on.
He got his first Oscar for adapting music, which was back when the Oscars used to do that. When he did Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, yeah. That's
Oh my
Mhm.
God.
Wonderful.
All right.
Yeah.
Paul, what are your top three?
Star Wars and Raiders 1 and 2. And then coming up with 3 is real tough because Jaws, could it be more iconic? Just the
right.
and then you immediately get
Ooh,
chills up
yeah.
your back. I mean, and Harry Potter was amazing, and Jurassic Park, as you mentioned. I think Schindler's List, one of the most beautiful pieces of music ever composed. But I can't deny E.T. the Extraterrestrial is my number 3
Yeah,
because
it's
the last
incredible.
10 minutes of that movie has like 3 lines, like, oh, don't go or whatever, I'll be right here. And that heavy lifting's on Williams, and he does it effortlessly. The last shot of Elliot just looking up and Williams delivering all the joy a score could possibly deliver, phenomenal. And then to pull all the way back and just give us piano for the end credits, incredible.
Mhm.
He's amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah, no, that's actually the correct answer. But I just wanted to throw
I know.
BFG
I had
out
to
there.
mention 5 other ones. That really, The Witch of the East book is incredible.
These are so hard to choose. How do you
And the
choose?
reason E.T. is the correct answer is the E.T.'s Adventures on Earth. There's an 8-minute piece, I believe, on the soundtrack. It's just, some people are afraid to just absolutely hit that theme. And because they're like, oh, I just don't want to pump the audience every time, But in that one, it's like, dun dun, like it just is like, all right, I'm really, we got the audience up here, and let's just push it through. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
How about this? John Williams did the score for one Alfred Hitchcock movie. Do you know what that is?
I'm sure I do.
It's
Oh, is it?
I got a guess on that.
Is it the? Oh, is it like Topaz? It's the Paul Newman one.
Paul, what's your guess there?
The Trouble with Harry?
It is
I think you're right.
Family Plot.
Family
I was going to say that.
Plot!
Go
One of
with
those.
instinct. Good Lord. I was gonna say.
Wow, Family Plot. Good
Always go with
call.
your gut.
Good
But
call.
I thought he did a funnier one. All right.
I'm just scrolling through everything because it's like after a while it stopped
That's what
being
Jeff
like
does.
That's
title
what
is
Jeff
just
does.
forget
He
about
just
it.
goes through his
On
Rolodex.
brand.
Well,
On
while
brand.
he's doing that, I think we can go ahead and pull up the wheel, Matt. That was
Yeah.
fun.
But real quick, Lego says Hedwig's theme could save me from a Stranger Things monster. Hope that's vague enough. In confession, approximately 83.78% of my enjoyment of Star Wars is John Williams music.
How dare you?
Approximately, and then you give a very specific.
Yeah,
And then 95% of one's enjoyment at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter
Yes.
Universal Studios is just
Mhm.
walking around to John Williams music.
Yes.
I don't even need rides or anything.
Yeah,
Just, you're walking around and it's like,
it's amazing. I love a good
John
score.
Williams or Alexander Desplat doing riffs of John Williams from the back.
Yeah.
of that series.
so real quick, we do have 2 Streamlabs from John Lustrino, of course.
Of course.
First one says, beautiful. It's going to be an all-timer tonight. All right. Fire them up. We go live in 5. Tej Parker. And the second one says, so done. Looks like we're going to be partners, bro. Could you tell me right quick what would be a better motor for my Skyline, a Gallo 12 or a Gallo 24? 24. I didn't know pizza places made motors. Brian O'Connor and Agent Dunn.
They paid to write that to you.
Yeah,
That's
Also-
the most
the
Lustrina
street
thing
is
ever.
the street is the best. He's amazing. We love
people
you.
are so hyped they hate to leave. But this will probably be my last spin. Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, and get your bets in on what movie Paul's leaving to go see, because you're not going to guess.
Jurassic
Oh,
World
that's right.
Dominion.
My plans have changed a little bit, but I was off to see
Oh.
Downton Abbey, a new era.
Oh,
I love that movie.
I can't
Oh,
wait to
wow.
see it. Yeah, the first one was great.
I've watched the first episode of the first season.
I
better.
never saw a moment of Downton Abbey before that movie, and I loved it. So there's that.
Really? Oh, that's good to know. 'Cause I
We
think that's how
got.
my girlfriend will be going in.
Well, look. Luckily for you, you can talk about your team's match real quick before you run out.
Hey, all right. Well, good thing I spun to that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Matt didn't bump it
Right.
at all.
No, I actually didn't bump it.
See, everything just works out.
Well,
Always
we're old.
works out.
And bonus points for if you can guess what movie I'm going to see.
You won't. You won't.
I bet I
I'm
know.
sure. You don't.
That's because you texted me it.
Oh, did I?
I
I
asked a
after
follow-up
you.
question about it, and you never responded. So it's fine.
Did you?
Yes.
That's funny.
I love
Is
that
it
this happened.
Lightyear?
So let's chat about this match. You guys go up against the system. That was fun. You guys did pretty good in your round one. You had that challenge come up.
that
That seemed a
tone?
little shady,
I don't know. I
challenge.
had a perfect round, but you know,
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did.
Can we stop for 1 second, because it did bug me a little bit. I know some other people pointed it out too. The challenge itself, for Thornton, versus
That's a
Thornton.
strange. I wasn't prepared for that. If you could tell.
I wasn't
To be
prepared for
honest-
it to be held up.
I didn't even know there was an N in his name. I had no
Yeah,
idea that's how you
The
spelled
other
it.
thing is,
that's such an
people
exact
pronounce
spelling
it.
request.
And it's very odd, because spelling has never been that exact
Right.
before, and there's no one else named Billy Bob Thornton. Which
Well,
Yeah.
that's our problem with
exact
every
same- and
every
also,
challenge is
The problem is,
Go ahead, Jeff.
Nightmare on Elm Street or A Nightmare on Elm Street. We know you know the movie.
You know the answer because there's a billion movies you could have said. You could have said Missouri Breaks. That's not the answer.
My biggest issue, though, is not just that. And I get everything's being filmed in such a way where, you're kind of like getting through it all and whatnot. But from an audience perspective, Eric didn't see it, of course, because of the way that the teams have the boards in between. Janine also wrote Thornton.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Which is my job to check, but I just didn't.
Right.
I mean-
That's such a hard thing to catch there. That it felt a little off to be like, okay, that like that sort of miss. It's something that, like, it's the sort of thing where, like, because we know, I'm sure we're all aware, we've probably seen it at some point. People that are audience members occasionally respond to things that might be controversial or questionable in a way, and they
that
do it
can
in a
help
way
prompt
where
the
it's not
challenge.
necessarily the most admirable or the way that they approach things. And it feels like this was like a way for some people to, like, be able to frame complaints in a way where they were just being negative about it. But it was like, that was like an oversight on, I think, like, maybe the production's point, because it's something that's consistent, that if the audience can easily catch that. And it's not, this isn't just something for you to catch. This is like an all things should be even type of thing.
Can I go first, Adam? Because
Yeah,
I'm
go
gonna say
please,
this
please.
and then
I know.
gotta go.
Yeah,
All
go
right,
ahead.
yeah. And then,
Well, it's always this kind of stuff that's gonna make me. I'm just having luck right now, because that's all this game is luck,
it's all luck.
and it's going my way right now. Because I know just as much as anybody else in this league when it comes to trivia. The point now is just go out and have fun, because it's going to be luck on your side or not on your side. It's always a rule or a challenge or something that takes me down. And when they don't, I was lucky, because I'll know the trivia. Like, there was one time where I just, like, took a crap on the trivia, but even then I would say I had a crap luck at the spin. So it's always luck. I mean, I could have said, hey, Janine, do you think Dark World is one word? Do we challenge? Do we take away your point? I mean, these are dumb challenges.
Yeah.
She knows the movie.
But the question is
Let's get on with it.
that a valid point you just brought up?
Yeah.
Is that grounds?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I don't know.
There's going to be one on every single question.
Yeah.
If he
Yeah.
watched Lomas, the guy, he misspells every answer.
Yeah, some of
said
these
that
guys
to
look
you
like they
guys
had a
before.
stroke while writing their answer down. It's
JC
like,
had the perfect response. It's like, well, if they're really going to be cracking down on spelling, I guess I'm retiring sooner than later.
right?
Exactly.
Did they wait till I put JTE on a team before they're like, now spelling is the most important thing? Like, you don't like me? You could just say you don't like me because you seem to like me around the halls, but then I get out there and you're like, give this guy hell.
I have to say,
No,
I
I
watched JTE do a video chronic quiz on The Rock with PLD, and watching it and how many times he repeated the question, I'm like, I get why the JTE rule exists. I understand.
That is so funny. But that the rule is literally named after him.
JT's the kind of guy that if the question was, or the answer was The Rock, he'd write The Stone or something.
Yeah.
The Rocky.
The Rocky.
The Rocky.
Spell it QUE. The Rocky.
The Roke. Anyways, I know Paul just
Paul's
brought
gotta
this
go.
up. I know that you do have to you do need to step away. We only had you for a short amount of time.
Yeah,
So is
but
there
it
anything
was
that you
fun.
want to plug real quick? I don't want
At
to
the movie
kick you
guys.
out.
Check out
At
the
the movies.
movie nonsense show that we just recorded. It's archived now. Once we record it, it just lives there on YouTube. But tomorrow, usually the day after I make the point of taking the archived show and putting it on themovieguys.net, so it's easy to find right on our homepage. And we recently lost a friend of ours, Stephen Lewis, who was a big movie guy when we started. So we dove through the archives and we play all sorts of clips of Steve being hilarious. So, a lot of you guys don't know who he is because he wasn't involved with the Schmodown or anything. But if you want to see a guy be super funny about movies, we gave him, a send-off with that platform.
Yeah, if anybody will get all the jokes that he's doing, it's this crew right here and your viewers. And, it's
Awesome.
good stuff.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
What are some of the two of the good jokes of his we loved? One was back when they cast Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. We just had Eric Bana, we had Edward Norton, and now we have the Hulk. So he said, the interesting thing about Bruce Banner is, he's going to turn into the Hulk. But you just never know who he's going to turn back into.
That's awesome.
We played a review of Red 2 in which he misunderstood as a sequel to Shawshank because, of course, Red, the character of Red, and the actor continues on to Red 2. He's like, well, this must be a sequel, right? It did a whole review assuming that Red from Shawshank Redemption is back.
Yeah. So other than that, themovieguys.net and at the movie guys everywhere for stuff. Even the Ford Fiesta shows up on themovieguys.net. Everything is there. Oh, and I'll plug the tour since you mentioned it. Yeah. The Movie Guys LA Film Locations Tour, lafilmlocationstour.com. If you want to see the most interesting tour you'll take of Los Angeles, because not only do you see the movie locations, but we drive by everything else too that would be on another tour. Except, so it's like everything else you want to see in my tour, in movie wise, is like a bonus.
I plan on doing it next time I'm in LA. So
look me up, man.
Sure.
I'll give you the friends and family discount.
Awesome.
All right, I got to scoot. I like all those other wheel slices. I normally hate the wheel slices, but these are good ones. Stick around. All right,
I'll
I'll
get
see
you
you.
back on, and don't worry. We'll see you later. Bye.
Later, Paul.
Now we have
back to the
lesser
topic at
movie
hand
guy.
here.
Yeah.
And this whole match. We then get into
What do I do, guys? What do I do? I mean, no. Before we move out of round one, I mean, like, I'm Mr. Challenge, and I actually pulled back on that bit a bit. Like, I'm like, okay, I've known a little too much for my challenges, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna. And also, I just don't want to like interrupt the show, and it drives people nuts. And even if it is my bit or whatever, and then this happens, and I'm like, that is a ridiculous challenge. That's my job. Like, so I just like, if it's spelling every time, plenty of people spell stuff wrong all the time and nobody's called them on it. That was just very obscure. Nope, 100% accurate. I'm like, so I felt very blindsided by that
made
challenge.
It clear that spelling doesn't matter. It's how you say it. That's why I was confused. Like, as long as you say it properly.
And the thing is,
dig
though,
into
the
the rule
spelling
books.
is literally one letter off, and in the way it's pronounced, it's different than, like, for instance, to go back to something that's obviously wrong. The first thing that comes to mind for me is Tom Dagnino saying Chadwick Boseman or whatever instead of Chadwick Boseman.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's a real fuck up there.
That's wrong.
This is that to me.
Everybody
I'm
knew
not
the
one who
answer.
I'm not actually
Idris
someone
Elba
who complains-
instead of Elba.
I'm not someone who complains that much when it comes to challenges. I think a lot more challenges are well grounded and worth doing, especially if it can help throw off the other team sometimes.
Yeah.
But this
Which
one
is what they
was
were doing.
This one felt like, on the one hand, it's annoying because it only affected JTE too. Like, I don't think that it's actually something worth challenging in the first place. But what bugs me more as a viewer is how it wasn't more fairly divided because it was the same issue on both sides.
Well, that's
So
the thing. I would, I look over there, I see both of them have Billy Bob Thornton written down. Thornton, whatever. I mean, I'm seeing it from a distance. And I look over there, no challenge on my part. They bring up that, he spelled it wrong. And so then, I mean, I can't rewind and go, I mean, my challenge literally could not be, Janine spelled it wrong, because I wasn't going to pay attention to that as well. That's something you only see in an instant replay. So the challenge in real time has got to be on some other level. It can't be, Janine spelled it this way. Because, in my opinion, as is Janine got it right and he got it right. Like, Billy Bob Thornton or Thornton, you could answer Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's the wrong answer. That is not the answer to that question, for sure. No matter how you spell Schwarzenegger, that is not the answer to that question. So, yeah, I mean, do I just have to be... I mean, I just have to charge in next time and be a total jerk. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Just burn it down.
Burn it to the ground.
Paul gets a perfect round, so that was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah.
it's like when it comes to complaining about this sort of stuff, I'm not one to complain a lot
Right.
for a lot.
Yeah,
of
it's
Schmoedown
silly.
stuff.
It's silly.
The things that I want to complain about are things that I comment more on behind the scenes, or in that one episode that actually was taken down a spin from the reel because we did a reaction to Thor, the Thor trailer, and then Disney took it down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that
They
stuff.
They missed out on my very vital talk about Skybound paying or not paying its employees. But that's a whole other thing. I don't feel like getting into at the moment.
Adam's never gonna come back now. It's fine.
Not with me on here, you're not.
Yeah, no. I don't know where I was going with it. God damn, I got a text message and it completely threw off my groove.
We're at the second round, right?
Yes. So
I was gonna say is we're complaining about this shit, but you guys still won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Like, and if you had fun, then this is just like a minor inconvenience over the scope.
Yeah.
Of the whole.
Right.
But when it comes to Paige and The Last Action Hero, now at least that's a little more of a rule. Like at least that's been a little more codified. I could probably know the rule book a little better. But she knew that answer too. That was the answer.
Right.
Like she did answer the answer.
Just missed an article on it.
There are a million movies out there, and she didn't say any of those.
Right.
And that's one where she lost a match that she outplayed Kalinowski. I mean, she outplayed Kalinowski.
If she
And
had
so it's
not,
like-
if she had not added the in front of The Last Action Hero, she would have won. Which
Yeah.
is when we were discussing last week Kalinowski and his career, and Kalinowski v Smets, like where the IG GOAT stands, and when it comes to like strength of play and things like that. And while Kalinowski is a phenomenal player, great defenses, all of that, a lot of the matches that he's won, it's been because his opponent has a mess up like that, because she had him on the ropes all 3 rounds until that point.
That's how all of his defenses were. That's how so much of that stuff was. He's had most of his wins in the last year, not everyone, of course. Most of his wins across the divisions were because the people that he was facing were ahead and then tripped up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened. It happened with Parker. It happened with Chundru. It happened, or not, maybe not Chundru necessarily. It happened with Amaru. It happened with Paige. It's just interesting.
Yeah. And for Paige, I just want her to have the confidence that she outplayed Mike Kalinowski. Like that's just something for a much more freshman player than Kalinowski to take away from that. Instead, she takes away that she lost a match, and then she got to take that into her next match. And it's like, dude, you outplayed Mike Kalinowski is who you outplayed.
Yeah.
But she doesn't get to leave the match feeling that way. So I'm like,
of course. And on top of that, she's also coming from the perspective of it was her first time in person too.
that's true too.
So
That's true too.
yeah.
I even forgot
And
that.
look, she did outplay. It was literally one word, and it was an article. Yeah. So but I mean that's
at least that's a little bit more of a rule. It just seems like the Thornton thing was very selective. But I will give the database credit that there's no way that's in the rule book that you have to spell everything exactly correct, because every match, lots of stuff is spelled incorrectly. So I will give him credit to bring that challenge, because I don't think that's in the rule book. I don't think they had to think on their feet and go, geez, is that where do we go here? And they ended up getting the challenge. I made a terrible rebuttal to that. And I think this stuff can be made or broken in the rebuttal, in the actual challenge. So it really is my job to come up with a better response. And that's probably actually what loses that challenge more than the legitimacy of theirs.
I think the best rebuttal to a challenge recently was, what was it, Saul saying
a horse is a mode of transportation.
Not a side.
That's a pretty good one, right? Yeah.
That was a good one.
But yeah, no. So then we get into round 2. You let they let the system go first. They end up getting the wild card, which was movies involving weddings.
Right.
I'm loving wild cards, by the way.
Oh, it's the best.
This is so fun watching these, especially when you get like these just random whatever.
And most of the time, wild card has been a category. Most of the time, it is not opponents I'm amazed at that. It's like when they take it, you're like, oh, it's not one or the other. So
and you know that PJ and Paul and the others, they're just having a ball making these weird, where they're able to like make these broad questions within a hyper specific category.
Like the movies that are Die Hard but aren't Die Hard. That's
right.
one of my favorite slices of the year.
Perfect.
We got two wild cards this episode because Pure Energy took their wild card too, and they got Talking Animals movies, which was super fun. That was a great one.
Oh, is that what they got? I didn't see. I only know
they did they got a Beth May and Rick Hong, I think it is.
Yeah.
Is that the team?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I haven't watched the whole show yet. That's great.
Versus Moose and Rachel.
Oh God, I gotta watch
Rachel
this. It's amazing.
Her first win since the Pride.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
She and Moose were great together too. Great team, right
Moose
there.
is always great. I love Moose.
Yeah, he's great. That's a good team too. That's just both good teams.
Yeah. But round 2, you have the system goes perfect. They only drop to multiple choice one time.
Okay.
And get it. I mean, movies involving Wendy, it seemed like it was right up their alley.
Sure,
like I think when they went multiple choice just to double check that they were right. But they were pretty much aware of everything. And then movement
played defensively.
Spin away from Queen Latifah and then end up on the Brat Pack.
Right.
Yes.
So, which again, who doesn't love the Brat Pack? No steals, one miss with question 5. Use up your second JT, but all in all, a pretty solid round 2, and you end up leaving it tied 26-26. So we know we're going into the third round. I take very detailed notes.
Okay, yeah.
Otherwise, no one else will.
I make it a point to be the least professional.
I make it a point to just go based off of memory.
They were like, Jeff, you're hosting. And I'm like, fuck.
I did pick up the hammer from Chris Anthony Lopez, who used to take the page-long notes. But how funny was it that you have that, so you get that really shitty challenge in round 1, and then the 2-pointer for you guys is Harrison Ford.
So I guess the universe balances out.
It sure does.
As Paul says, it's all luck. The 5-pointer Harrison Ford might be a nicer thing to see, but evidently it's on the list, and if we just got the right numbers, we could have got that. Yeah, the 5-point Harrison Ford as well.
For sure. And then I mean that was a great. That 5-pointer for that JTE pulled, no problem. I mean, Peanut Butter Falcon is a phenomenal. I have a huge love for it because I have a brother with Down syndrome who loves wrestling. Who like that was watching my brother in that movie for a lot of it. So I love the Peanut Butter Falcon. So whenever that movie gets love, it makes me so happy.
It's a lovely movie.
Now I see a comment down here too about the Anthony Michael Hall thing. Yes. That is a fact that I did find out a long time ago because I was like, oh, there's another movie named Hail Caesar, and then found out that's who directed it. Now, I wouldn't have been able to recall it when asked. But am I wrong? Is that not a 5-point question? Of course, that's not a real thing. Like, I can't challenge you. Go, that's a 5-point question in round 2.
I mean, people have in the past.
Have they?
I mean,
did they win? Because I kind of want to.
Not round two. Not round 2.
I guess so. So here's
probably
my
that's not gonna happen.
Rebuttal to that. If I were to just real quick take a look at this, the Brat Pack is a very specific list of actors. Anthony Michael Hall is primarily,
and apparently they've run out of questions. They're down to Hail Caesar.
What I'm saying is that it's
no National Lampoon's Vacation.
It's not just about those movies.
It's not just about the movies. It's about the actors and their careers from it.
And of that, Anthony Michael Hall is primarily known for 2 things. One of them is Brat Pack related movies, and when he screamed "Evil Dies Tonight" over and over last year.
Yeah.
3 things. You're forgetting the night show host on Dark Knight.
Yeah, like I said, 2 things.
3 things.
And so, and so the other thing about that is, okay, cool. Well, that's the only movie he's ever directed. Right. So to me, it's an interesting thing where, because it's going through just the actors and stuff, it's one notable standout about someone who primarily exists in the cultural consciousness as Brat Pack. This is a way to argue against it, maybe a 3-pointer, not a 5-pointer, just based on that. But I could see, because it's obviously such an obscure title. But
it's a 5-pointer because the guy's made 50 movies, and this category's come up once, and we're already down to Hail Caesar. But anyway.
I get it.
And he's not
that's
in
why
it.
that's
That's exactly why they asked it. That's exactly why they asked it. It's confusing. It's like Hail Caesar. It makes people go, what?
Of course, but on the other hand, it is multiple choice, so they did give the option of breaking it down to 4 times.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm in support of the writers, so I'll always make a. Oh, speaking of,
Well, of course.
how much did DJ pay me? Nothing yet.
Nothing yet. We are very big hashtag team question writers on here, except for if we're gonna real quick in the Star Wars match, not in your Star Wars match, actually, Adam Witt, with the
How bad did I blow that thing?
So Adam,
And all I had to do was check down, and I would have tied him. And I blew that match. All I had to do was check down with that Ryan Johnson question or the Gareth Edwards, but I was just so out of my brain. But
the challenge that Travis actually should have lost was about R2 being there when Leia's body disappeared. Is
that what they said when the body disappeared? I thought
the question was who was with Leia when her body disappeared after Ben's death in The Rise of Skywalker.
And that's just Maz.
Yep.
Okay, but when there's a scene before that,
there's a scene where she actually dies, where she's actually
and it's R2's freaking out,
and it's R2 is the only one there.
Gotcha.
But
their question was not dies, it was disappears?
Yeah, it was the where when Leia disappears.
That's a great question. I mean, it's such a great tricky question.
Great question. But they were just like they scrolled through the movie and they saw R2. They're like, yeah, no, that's right.
Oh, because they went to the one before.
Yeah.
Right.
Adam,
okay.
Adam, I think the only reason why you didn't win that match is because you're just too committed to the bit now.
You committed to the bet.
I think it's because I was out of town working 2 jobs, about 80 hours a week, and I had just gotten home.
That too. I think that was probably right around when we recorded our Blade Runner episode. So if they asked you some Blade Runner questions, I bet you would have gotten it all.
Yeah.
We got that as a.
Well, and I even say it, like, one of the jobs I was working for John Williams. So I'm like, well, if there's any reason to not do well in a Star Wars trivia match, it's because I was too busy working for John Williams.
I mean, how cool is that?
I'm okay with it.
You're just the coolest of all time.
Thank you.
I mean, you really
that's
are.
correct.
I think it is.
You got to work with the composer of the 1960s TV film Heidi.
I did. You're correct. You're correct, Jeff.
Did that make it into any of your compilations?
No, the first thing I said to him was like, okay, so Missouri breaks.
But all in all, great run. Fan favorites as a faction whole. I mean, you guys have been doing really well.
Are we interesting at all?
Yes.
That's good.
Not my favorites, but you're interesting.
I love it. I love what you guys are bringing. I love everyone on your faction.
They're fun, right?
It's
a fun crew. Yeah,
it's
I think so.
fun. JTE's style is just
the AK-47 necklace was back, Allison.
It was. I feel like that was taped before.
What's that?
Him wearing his assault rifle.
Assault rifle necklace.
Perfectly timed, by the way.
I was just like, oh no.
That post.
That might have been from 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you can kind of tell when you do the Smets Kalinowski title match the week before, and everything is in the new studio.
Yeah, is in the new
studio. And then this week's.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't even think of that. Like, that's an obvious. That one.
Yeah, no, it's so funny because I've heard about stuff that had filmed and whatnot, and then I saw Smets Kalinowski in the new studio, and I'm like, oh. For some reason, I thought there'd be more matches from the old studio still, and then back to that today, and I'm like, oh, okay.
There they are.
Airing it as they come.
I could have sworn this match aired a couple weeks ago or something, and Paul said it didn't. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it didn't, because I have my memory of watching it, but
what was it? Wildberries J was aired like
back
a week or two ago,
February.
right?
And that was one of the first ones ever
filming.
Filmed.
The first day of filming was Wildberries J, and that didn't drop until a week ago.
That's also my favorites when you can see how far back it was, because in the very beginning for those first tapings they tried to use a smoke machine, so it just looked like a 90s cop movie.
And then we heard from some people that that's what happened was there was a fog machine early on, and the rest of the day we couldn't clear it out.
It just has that haze of
it's okay. It makes it look like a Tony Scott film. I'm all for it. I say leave it on all day.
everything just looks like an unexpected journey at 84 frames per second or something.
Looks like the movie Cool as Ice. No movie is more diffused than Cool as Ice. Do you know who shot Cool as Ice?
I do not.
Oh shit, that's not Janusz Kaminski. No,
It is Janusz Kaminski.
That's what it was. Oh, look at that.
It looks more Tony Scott than any Tony Scott movie.
That's a weird pull on my point.
That was a great one, man.
But how much fun are you having this season?
Yeah,
managing.
Yes.
Adam?
We've had this conversation. If you're having fun, then it's worth it.
Right. I mean, you know, like I always feel underprepared for these things. I always feel like the stage lights and all that sort of stuff. And especially when something comes up that they really throw me, like that challenge, I'm like, I don't have a response for that sort of thing. But no, I mean, I think it's so much fun. It's so much fun being back together, like in person, because, you know, you're walking the halls, you're doing your bits, you're dressing in your costume, people walk up and laugh at you and stuff. And you have these great, it just really puts you into a really great mood before you head in there to have a friendly competition. You know, I mean, we stop being friends kind of momentarily when we get into the studio, and it gets up to that sort of height, and you get angry at each other for certain things like the challenge and you know, that sort of stuff. And then as soon as that's over, it's like, there's this deflation, and you're not at home on a camera, and you walk up and you go, hey, good match, and all that sort of stuff. So it's it is really fun. I'm having fun with the fan favorites because I really want us to be a sketch forward, a kind of bits forward type thing. I could be accused of not focusing on the trivia enough. I'm trying to get back up to sort of my training regimen that I had with the dungeon, where I had to do less stuff because I wasn't the manager a lot of times there. And so we're having fun, but I think we're just getting started because there's just a lot of other ideas that we want to do, and a lot of more fun stuff that we want to do, and we want to keep winning and hopefully end up in some larger matches. So, you know, I'm having fun. Are you?
Oh my God, I'm having so much fun. One of my favorite moments from this season so far was right before the Paige Kalinowski match, where I think it was one of the final cutscenes of an episode, like the week before, where Shannon and Mike are walking out, and then you guys are right there, and it's like, this looks like a well moment, and Paul just goes, hit him with it. Well.
That has got to be my next shirt, Paul just said, because I didn't realize till I watched two older promos that I say that all the time. I thought that was a joke we did for that one. So I do want to make a shirt that says, well.
I'd buy it.
Thank you for enjoying that.
It's going to be a Skybound shirt now that you say that. Just watch. Christian's going to make it a Skybound shirt.
It was
Yeah, but only temporarily.
Those types of moments, and like how you guys are just so, I'm having, and this is my first season to actually watch through. So I've been having a blast with it. Like, and
good
the cutscenes and the entertainment of it. I've been having so much fun. I've been loving the questions and being able to play along pretty well. Some of the shit I know that my husband's like, how the fuck do you know that, but you've never seen this movie? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
That's the best thing about the Schmodown. You're like, I don't know how I know this, but I know this, you know.
It was like I told the joke where we were scrolling through Netflix, and he stopped on a Cinderella story as he was scrolling through, and I was like, oh, I've seen that, you know, the Hilary Duff classic. And he goes, and yet now you're the one with the podcast about movies. Makes sense. It's totally
yeah, I mean, the more you watch it, the more you get it. Like, not everyone can just casually say that Janusz Kaminski shot Cool as Ice.
No, you're a very special case for that one right there.
What about it? Like, just think about it. These are the kind of conversations we have where we laugh about it. It's like other people are laughing because of like other shit. We're like, ha ha ha. The guy who shot West Side Story also shot that feature-length music video with Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice. But you know what? That's the jam. That's the juice too, because it's like when you find something out like that, you're like, I have to tell people this. And I do remember a time in my life where I'm like, oh my God, nobody gives a shit about this but me. But now I'm like, oh my God, hold on, I gotta text the Barbarian. Yeah, I gotta.
Oh no, I get it. Yeah.
Right.
And no, it's so weird to talk about. Like, I know I'm commandeering that part of the conversation just briefly, but it's like that because I think it's a fun thing to kind of like think about, is this idea of like how so much of what we talk about has to do with movies, and it's like, yes, we just want to talk about it with someone else. Because I went to dinner with my parents the other night, and I'm like, I just saw the most incredible 3-hour Indian action movie. I saw Triple R. And my parents, when I mentioned...
That's the pirate movie, right?
When I mention, seeing an international film, they always like they always like snub their noses and all that sort of shit, and they're like,
I don't know what language you're speaking. You're not subtitled, so I don't know what that movie is.
Exactly, and like in this community, it's like people are on my side about complaining how Netflix doesn't have the proper dub available for the movie. I got to see it in a theater, which was lucky.
Oh,
but yes, that's
awesome.
exactly it. Like this is, other people are like, yes, show Triple R only in Telugu. Or something like that.
Meanwhile, my parents were really, really cute when we were driving up to Atlanta to go meet my new niece and stopping outside of Macon so I could go to the Whistle Stop Cafe and get fried green tomatoes. Because they're like, you like this? You like movies? We can go do this.
Is that like the real location?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Arguably,
And then
Cinderella Man is my favorite sports film.
the other one that I always talk about is the town my dad grew up in, filming My Cousin Vinny in it.
I know that town. I shot a movie in that town. I produced
you
a movie
really?
that shot in that town, 100%.
What movie?
That movie is called Heaven's Fall.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it features a performance by Sam Witwer.
Okay.
And because of that, we cast the movie production company I worked for, shot another movie with David Strathairn, and the co-lead, pretty much, is Sam Witwer. And that movie is called No God, No Master. Small release, indie films or whatever. So I always tell people, Sam Witwer, I got him his start.
My grandma Mitchell's department store is my grandma's department store that was closed for the flu, and My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Remind me the name of the town. There might be a different town.
This one it's called Monticello, Georgia.
Okay, it wasn't Monticello. The one we shot in was called. Oh my God, I'm forgetting.
No God, No Master says it was filmed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
That was filmed in Milwaukee. Heaven's Fall. Look up Heaven's Fall. I'm trying to think of the little town.
Did that have Sam Witwer, you said?
He's got a smaller part in that one. He was basically
that's not even popped up.
But the other movie that is also famous for being filmed in Monticello, Georgia, is a James Earl Jones classic called the Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Stars and Motor Kings.
Right. Spielberg
also
almost directed
filmed-
that movie.
Yep, that was also filmed in Monticello, Georgia.
Meanwhile, No God, No Master.
And that's where they actually had painted the Holly Arms Hotel. You can't see it, but on the back of where my grandma's store was, there was a whole facade painted on for the Holly Arms Hotel. So the scene where like they're running out of the hotel because they're trying to skip out on the bill.
Oh, Monroeville is where we shot Heaven's Fall.
Yeah. No, I know Monroeville.
Yeah, other scenes.
All the they all run together. But yeah, so that's my parents are now being really cute about movies, and but of course, no, that's Monticello. That's different. That's Hamilton.
But yeah, Timothy Hutton, David Strathairn, Anthony Mackie. It was a good time, and it was kind of cool because recently, when I went to go see Top Gun Maverick, I was looking up. I was watching the original, and there was an actor I recognized, but I'm like, who is that? And I looked it up, and just in the course of going down IMDb, I saw James Tolkien, and his photo on IMDb is from Heaven's Fall. I was like, I know that photo. Yeah, so.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so cool.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Do you think we have?
You're right.
time
He's
for
not
one
listed
more
on
Will Smith?
IMDb. He's not listed on IMDb.
When I went to Wikipedia for, I know because you said Sam. I just went to Sam Witwer's Wikipedia. At least that's what I go to.
He must have a really small role in. I don't see him here.
Yeah, it must be a really small role for that movie
Okay.
because it has his first credited role on Wikipedia at least is Crank as a shootout henchman.
Okay.
And then a couple years later, he is in No God, No Master playing Eugenio Ravarini.
Right, because that's the story is about the two Italian guys, supposedly terrorists at the time. I can't think of their names right now, but yes. Anyway, got him his start. The point is, got him his start.
You did. You sure did.
Why don't we get to that last wheel slice? Because I know,
Real
Adam,
quick,
you also wanted to try and catch a screening.
I was thinking of going to see The Blood-Spattered Bride, but that's 9:25. Daughters of Darkness is right now. Anyone got any info on that?
Nothing. I got nothing.
I'll look
for
it
you.
up.
Real quick, while you look that up, I got another Streamlab from Mr. John Lestrino. This one is for Mike Deacon. Hold this. You think you can shoot at me? I'm a goddamn federal agent. United States Customs Agent Markham, played by the wonderfully talented 2012 Saturn Award for Lifetime Achievement winner James Remar.
Hollywood James Remar.
Adam, have you heard about what the show guys did to me with James?
I could pull that up. Hold on, I have that video.
They paid money.
Hold on, no. I got this. No. I got this, Allison. We're not just gonna spoil this
while he's doing that. I just want to say something. At Spectacular, the night after the thing, when everyone went to Barney's,
Okay.
I had nothing to eat, and I drank 10 Appletinis at the bar.
Whoa! So you were.
Oh yes, I also had some beer there too and shots, but that was the main thing, was 10 Appletinis.
Wow. 10 Appletinis.
Yeah,
that sounds kind of good. Like I go for one Appletini right now.
The first one was
Easy on
good.
the
The first one was good. The fifth one was great. By the 10th one, I think it was awesome.
I have heartburn just thinking about it. Like all that sour and all that green apple mix, like is just. I used to drink Mike's Hard Lemonades back when I was attempting college for the first time around, and let me tell you something. That's just the worst heartburn I've ever had. Between that and Sparks, which was like the OG energy.
Oh, right.
It was like Four Loko before Four Loko was a thing.
I miss when Four Loko was like
British company.
good Four Loko.
Yeah, good Four Loko back when it was like super high. Yeah.
I had to explain to my dad
back
what
when Four Loko was
the other day.
lethal.
That was interesting. Or no, my uncle, not my dad.
Back when it would give you a heart attack.
First thing I ever beer bombed was a Four Loko. Ooh, it was my first.
Oh my god!
I used to drink Sparks, right? Like that was my jam. It tastes like liquid sweet tarts, but the problem was it was energy booze. So I would go home to go to bed, and I would be laying in bed, and I would just want to go to sleep because I'm shithoused and I'm tired and I'm ready for sleep, but I can't because I'm wired. So like it's that upper and that downer mix. You just sit in bed and cry until you finally fall asleep.
So they
how
invited
awesome
me
is
on-
this?
they
James
invited me on
Remar.
the co-host. I've done this every now and then. I pop onto their channel, and then they surprise me with this.
Hey Jeff, James Remar here.
Get the
Lord
fuck outta
Raiden
here.
from Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Hey pal, I am told that this is from What the Show, and that you're a jabroni. Okay, man. Well, you got to put down the Appletini because the best Raiden said you got to do that, pal, because it is not weak to value life. You know, Shao Kahn and all those jerk offs out there in Outworld. You know, you don't want nothing to do with those guys. So. You're a jabroni. You got to put down the Appletini. And What the Show says you only watch a movie once in a calendar year because it's letterboxed. I don't understand any of that. But you know what? I'm coming to you from one of my favorite places in the world. It's Griffith Park here in Los Angeles. Near Hollywood, and that's where I live. I work here too. All right, Jeff. You take care, pal. And I guess your buddies love you over at What the Show.
Gosh. Wow.
And I don't even know what a jabroni is. And and Lord Raiden should know everything because he's the god of thunder. All right. From the best Lord Raiden, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, James Remar saying, Jeff, so long, pal. Put down the Appletini.
What a legend! Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Just I don't know about you, but what I learned from that is he lives and works in Hollywood.
Yes.
Yes.
What I love is any cameo that is clearly done on the golf course. Hold on a second, guys. You guys are gonna go first. Hold on a second. I have $50 to make. Hey.
That's exactly it. Like it looks like everything about that is off the cuff. He looked at the notes and he's just like, okay.
So perfect. What?
Appletini, Lord Raiden,
Brony?
jabroni.
Brony, what's the
Let's do it.
Oh my God! What a legend, though, right? James Remar. That's so funny. That's who they got to say that because they could have
the best Lord Raiden?
It's now this is it.
48 hours, man.
In all group chats now, he is only referred
Hollywood.
to as
That's Hollywood's James Remar.
Hollywood's James Remar.
Once again, James Remar will say anything for $60. God damn.
It's so great. That's so great. Oh my God. They could have picked anybody to send that message to you, but James Remar
It's
is
because
so good.
Mike loves Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
That's why Mortal Kombat Annihilation
okay.
is on the you've never seen it list specifically.
That's
so
why
I can
he
talk
said.
about
That's
it.
why he said it's Lord Raiden.
The best Lord
Mortal
Raiden. That didn't make sense at
Kombat
first to me because I I've seen the first one 25 times, and I've seen the second one once.
He replaced Christopher Lambert. So out of all his
Lambert
roles, I mean, like, when it comes to me, the things I've seen him in, like, I watched all of Dexter. You could have said you were Harry from Dexter. No,
Right,
you're
right,
the best rated from Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Wow.
That was
I give him
epic.
credit there.
Good
Look it up.
times.
All right,
It's
why don't
Miracle
we
on
get
the
to
34th Street, James Remar.
No,
Hey, it's Boys on the Sides, James Remar.
He'll
Hey,
always be
it's two
Quill
different
from the
roles in
Phantom
Django and Chains, James Remar.
All right, let's give this wheel one more spin, Matt. Let's see if we can.
Well, I gotta
Give
reset up
the
the wheel
wheel.
because I pulled up the James Remar shit. Hold on one second.
Oh man,
Oh, man.
Wow.
All right, come on. All right, guys, how do we fill this dead air? Come on.
how do we fill this?
That air's
dead air?
done. I just had to turn the.
Ah, shit. There we go. Boom.
All right.
Let's go.
Man, I just can't believe they threw me for that with that challenge, man. They really threw. I just really feel out of it when stuff like that happens. I'm like, I don't know how to respond. What's happening? What are we doing? A show? You know.
Do we actually feel like talking about this, or do we want to spin again?
I haven't watched that match.
All right,
spin
let's
again.
spin again.
Who do
I
you
haven't
want to
All right,
play?
Andrew.
He was a number one contender
Gold leader.
with Gold Leader, and he beat him.
Oh, wait. No. I have seen that match. I edited that match, if you want to talk about it.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's been a week. I was like, have I seen that match? Yeah, you saw that match for an entire day in your editing bag. Yeah.
Good, because I didn't take notes.
Oh, so just to back up then, I know that obviously this is digital, and I know that you did some work helping with editing for the
Yeah.
FCL. So have you been helping with editing the Star Wars?
Yes.
matches then?
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
edit your own Star Wars match?
Yeah, I was
I
about
did
to say,
not.
did you-
I did not.
It was just too brutal.
No, they have other people doing it, but I think there's so many matches got shot at once, and that they just want to get them all prepped to crank
Are you
out.
only helping with
That's
the
fair.
digital one, or are you helping edit the in-person stuff too?
Just digital because I'm kind of connected because that's the FCL crew is kind of
Right.
putting that together, and so yeah, I got asked from a few of them to help lighten the load for some of the other editors. So yeah, so I edited that match. I was like, when you spun that, I was like, have I seen Demolante's match? And then in the back of my head, I absolutely have seen the hell out
Out
of
of
that
all
match.
the matches, out of all the matches to ask for, at least we asked one that you did see.
Right. And saw and saw and saw and saw, but I've probably purged it from my memory.
Great match.
Great match. How fun is Gold Leader?
He's so
He's
fun.
so fun.
He's so
James-
fun. He's so giggly and just like
He's having a good time.
having a good time. I love that. And Demolanta, obviously, he's much more Eye of the Tiger. I love Demolanta, of course. But just seeing, I mean, it's more near and dear to the heart of the fan favorites is this just like the giggliness of Gold Leader. Because there was one he got wrong. Oh, that's and for me as a Star Wars competitor, the one he got wrong was man, hats off. By the way, if I ever complain about any question, you can yell at me because I really love and adore the questions this season.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And especially Star Wars. That exchange is 0-3. Oh yeah, is that the case? Well, yes, yeah. Gold Leader would be one of those, but of course he's playing Demolanta. I mean, some of us are out there playing assassins in these games too. But my favorite one was because as a Star Wars competitor, I absolutely relate. But this question is awesome. What is the first word of the second paragraph of Return of the Jedi?
Yes.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
That's
Of the opening crawl, right?
The opening crawl. What a great question. And then I just totally felt for Gold Leader because he's like, does. And he's super confident. And I was like, that's the second word of the second paragraph. And then Andrew steals it from him. And this is confusion. And I've been there. This confusion goes over Gold Leader's face. And he's like, wait. And they start going to the next question. He goes, wait. And they could see his face. And they're like, Gold Leader, is there something you want to ask? And he's like, wait. What's the second word? And he goes, does. Little does Luke know. And then at that point he realizes he heard the question as, what is the second word of the second paragraph? And he goes, oh no.
Oh my
I've been there, and I could completely see, where his mind went. And
turning and you're just
yeah,
like,
and I hate moments like that because I've been there for moments like that where you're like, oh, I heard it wrong,
Yeah.
So
It's always a fun. Anytime Gold Leader's in a match, you know it's going to be fun.
he's so
Anytime
entertaining,
Gold Leader
yeah.
shows up anywhere, it's fun, including that time where we interviewed him and he was locked out of his own office.
Oh my God,
just
yeah.
sat-
He
he
came
just
on. He
sat on his
came
iPad
on
or
Show Me
something.
the Real, and he was
Yeah.
supposed to like be in his office. Yeah, he got
Oh my
himself
God.
locked out, and he
He
just
was
showed up
locked out,
anyway.
so he's just sitting there next to his cat in front of the door on like the floor or like a chair or in his bathroom or something. And then like hours later, he tweets out a photo. He had ripped the doorknob out of the door, so there's just a hole in the door, and he tweeted it out, tagged it to every after show that he was on that night, because we weren't the only ones that he joined while being stranded outside of his office
Oh,
that
that's
night.
hilarious.
I mean, the best part about it too is Jeff's lovely wife Paulina had joined us for the beginning part of this, and when all of that happened, her first words out of her mouth were, "And you came on a stream, you didn't call a locksmith?" Like,
Hey, gotta have your priorities, and I appreciate that about Gold Leader as well.
yeah, exactly.
By the way, that does remind me. I just went to my very first Star Wars celebration.
Oh, you lucky SOB. I wish I was there.
How was
Supposed to be
it?
there.
Did you fun?
I should have tried to find a way to get there for more days. What was cool is after I lost to Travis, we were just talking afterwards or whatever. And I was like, "Yeah, I wasn't able to get a ticket." And I guess it's just not. And he goes, "I have a ticket, but I have to fly somewhere else a week after." And he's like, "I just can't be flying all over the place." And he's like, "If you want my ticket, I'll sell it to you." So I got his ticket for Friday, which was cool. I still owe him for that. But
Hope he's not listening. He's going to come into the chat to collect.
I'm gonna
Right.
tweet him right now.
chill. I've had other shit going on, but anyway, like seeing all the, so for me being my very first Star Wars celebration, huge Star Wars fan, obviously lifetime, to have like friends there, because I've been to Comic-Cons and it's like me and the friend I went there with, and I don't run into anybody else I know. Like I know an artist or two, or run into them maybe in Artist Alley, but to like run into Dee Malanta and John Hoey and
Harper.
Lacey and Harper and all the. Well, I didn't run into Harper actually.
Really? I saw all those the group pictures of everyone who's a Star Wars player, so I figured.
Yeah, no, I'm not in that one, but I'm with there's another group photo that got put up. And it's just so cool having Star Wars friends. I never had Star Wars friends. Like Star Wars was the thing that kids liked because we were kids in the 70s, and then they grew up and I kept liking Star Wars, you know. So it was really cool and then we shot a little video piece we're going to be releasing soon to announce our Star Wars player for the fan favorites. We shot it there with everybody too, so that's kind of
cool.
Fun. Yeah,
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
So you're not going to keep going with it? You're just going to stick to managing?
If they need me back to fill a schedule vacancy, I'd be willing to. I would love to do it again and do it right, because my rule is I don't say no to a match. Okay.
Sure.
So the schedule was not proper for me to have said yes to that match. Okay. To at least even just have a day to sit down and go. And when I compete, like I'll watch all the Star Wars movies. I got note cards and stuff. I think that shit's so fun. Like
You're the guy who nearly upset Harper, so I expect you to play that one.
Right. That was on short notice. The only match I've ever prepared for was the one after Harper, and I'm blanking his name all the time. Great kid. Anybody remember who I played? What's the other guy's name?
Someone was summoned.
Please, PLD. Give me another match. Just give me some notice.
No one said Ed Harris. I don't know why you're here. We can say that 3 times.
Which Star Wars movie is Ed Harris?
I'm going to see who that person is.
I can't think of his name. Zach Burkett. There it is.
Burkett. That's it. Yeah, Burkett.
Great kid. That's the only one I studied for, but he's an assassin. That's Zach Burkett.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But that's like the one where I'm like, well, of course I lost that one. But the others, I'm like, geez, I was this close to like without even studying at all. Like I watched the Star Wars movies the night before, or as much as I could, before I played. But I do love him. Travis. He was my favorite in the FCL because I edited all the FCL matches. He's such a great character. He's an Ohio boy. He's a Columbus boy. So I was so excited when they said, do you want to play? And it would be against Travis. I was like, oh, I gotta play Travis. He's so much fun, and he was too. I mean, you see the way he's dressed and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm phoning it in. I woke up from like traveling all the previous day, and I'm like, hey, we're here doing a match. And meanwhile, he's like comes to play, so he totally deserved to win. But
you were great.
Thank you.
You were if you did.
I
your
was
best,
okay.
You were entertaining. I love fun matches when people are having fun.
Yeah.
Like when
you got Ken there, and it's like it's a good atmosphere.
Yeah, I just love, and there's somewhere like even when you have big matches on the line and people taking it very seriously, of course, and they get a little tense, but like I still like having fun. Like it's one of the reasons why I do like watching like Kalinowski play is like even though he's playing a title match against Smets and it's back and forth for a while there, he's still having fun with it. Like he's still making his jokes and his comments, and
that's why he's the best. He's great.
And I love having fun. And like you every one of your matches, I feel like you're always having fun, and that comes across so well, and it makes it so entertaining to watch because I can sit there and watch people go back and forth on movie trivia, and that's fine. But I want to have fun while I'm watching. I want to laugh at a joke.
That's the big thing.
Yeah,
because it's like that's where that kind of like that weird thing about the Schmodown kind of comes into play, where it's a competition, but it's also entertainment.
Right.
So it's like the people participating, how much of it are you locking in because of the competition aspect, and how much of it is like, well, it's also a show and I'm trying to have fun so the people watching have fun. But at the same time, you're trying to remember the 8th moon of whatever the hell. So it's an interesting thing to kind of balance.
And I love knowing that information. Like the idea that at some point in my life it would come in handy to know all this stuff was I never saw coming. So like the being able to like go and like it's important that I know the name of this droid or whatever. I'm like, that's just such a thrill for me that I really hate missing questions because I'm like, oh, I would love to know that, or in the case of this match, like, oh, I do know that, but I just can't think of it,
Speaking of droids, going back to real quick to top three Star Wars droids.
Oh God,
top three
backtracks to the beginning of the show.
RA7 Death Star droid. What's the white droid's name from the Sandcrawler?
Chad.
Hold on, the white droid. I love the white droid. CZ1. CZ1's one of my faves. I like 8D8. 8D8's a lot of fun, especially now that he's in Book of Boba Fett. I like that. So what are my top 3 droids? Top 3 droids. I love droids. Isn't that 8? Yeah, that's 8D8. Yeah.
That's 8D8. Yeah.
No, I'm asking which one is that. I already forgot Book of Boba.
The one voiced by Matt Berry.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love him.
I just love that droid came back. 2-1B. I'll go 2-1B, CZ1. And
8D8.
8D8's pretty good. I'll throw in one just because I have the flex. I know his name. It's oh no, I forgot it. Never mind. There's an obscure one I was going to throw out the name of.
What's the name of Taika's robot from Mandalorian? That
IG-88.
IG-11.
IG-11. I had a brain fart there for a quick second.
Yeah.
Wait, no,
IG-11. You know what?
I like that one.
Hold on. I have a different favorite droid. I can't believe I didn't think of it. 4LOM, baby. 4LOM.
Okay.
Context.
I don't know who any of these are.
Yeah, I don't know.
Imagine a droid with like the head of.
Don't need to imagine. Just say what it's from.
No, he's a quick gallery gallery bounty hunter droid in Empire, but
just like how IG-11 was.
Yeah, IG-88.
IG-88. Whatever.
Oh, okay. The flex I have, because when we would study Star Wars, we love having a good flex, like a weird thing that we know.
Yeah.
The probe droid. His name is XJ9CS14.
Okay.
So
I would say that will never be asked, but this season that could be asked.
You never know. There's a whole wheel slice that's just droids, right? Like droid and tech. Yeah. So that's a good. It's a good. And then if someone gets it right, they can be like,
Maz Castellan goes. I love him too. He's fun. GA9 or something like that. Yeah.
Yep. I know all of these. I have that here. Rattling them off.
I don't.
Do you have?
I don't know
Do you have GA9?
Any of them.
21B. I love 21B. 21B is great. There it is. Yeah. Is it GA9? It might be GA9. But I love knowing stuff like this. So when I miss it, I'm just like, oh man, I like knowing stuff.
I love knowing like weird things or like maybe not necessarily the most obscure, but like being able to like you can because it kind of goes back to like what we were just saying earlier. Because then you could just name drop it or reference it in a conversation with people that will get the joke.
GA97.
Like
GA97.
for instance,
GA97.
Yep. As a great
Close.
like example of that. Like when we think about all things like involving film and whatnot, and the kind of people like in this space, what's a great joke to me is when you were on our Show Me the Money one with Parker. And I asked you about a match, and you said, "Oh, I haven't watched that match," even though there was a whole round discussing it. And then afterwards, you're like, "Yes, actually, I did. I studied that match over and over again. I studied it more times than the Zapruder tape." And Parker is in mid sip of his beer when you say that. He does a spit take on camera. Because it's like, oh my god. Some people are like, I don't know what that is. But here it's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Something I can talk about for hours on end that no one else will ever talk with me about is the conspiracy theory of JFK and what actually happened.
No, I'll never talk about that. No.
Just saying.
But, here's what I've learned from the night.
There's a lot to be discussed.
Here's what I've learned from the night. I've learned about Hollywood places to visit in Hollywood.
Okay.
I've learned about Nakatomi Plaza lighting up Paul Preston. And I've learned that we need a faction called Schmohio with being the man.
Schmohio, baby. Yes.
I learned that Adam Wood is the coolest person amongst anybody else that I've ever talked to because he's had actual interactions with John Williams.
That too.
That's true.
You could, you could murder people and I wouldn't care because you got to hang out with John Williams. I mean, don't go do that. But I feel like
put Alice in a timeout.
Ohio, there's Fishburne. I love Travis Fishburne. If I had to lose to anybody, Travis Fishburne is the one. Hey, Fishburne, getting you your money. I swear.
Following you. Well, I think that's probably we'll get wrapped up here.
Cool.
Adam,
yeah. Well, that was a good conversation.
Oh, it's fun. Where can obviously movie guys, but anything else you got going on?
Yeah, but I can't talk about it here. No, I do. I do have a upcoming show, but it's I can't say anything about that. I'll tell you off screen. Yeah, no, I'll support everything. Well, the Ford Fiesta is starting back up again with season 2, which is just what we called it because we just took a break, and it's a random break at that because I had to go do a job. He had to go do a job. I had to do another job. All right, we're back now. So we've got a couple episodes in the can. So I'll let you know that good guy, good golfer. That's a line from Bill Murray's brother when he was on the movie Guys, Joel Murray. And he was doing an impersonation of Brian Doyle Murray, and he was like, good guy, good golfer. So every time I say good guy, I say good golfer. Good guy, good golfer.
From Joe Murray from
Joe Murray.
Wolfwait's God Bless America?
100%.
Joe Murray?
Yeah. He was, if you look up the Movie Guys archive, it's like he's doing an impersonation of Brian Doyle Murray. He's like, good guy, good golfer.
Is that the right Murray that I'm thinking of? That's a hysterical line, though, because like if it's Joe Murray, I could hear it in his voice, too.
Well, it makes you wonder why don't more people do impersonations of Brian Doyle Murray? It's the most you know what that voice sounds like, but of course he's his brother. Of course he does an impersonation of his brother. But
it is Joe Murray. Okay, cool.
It's a very good impersonation of Bill too. One of the better ones I've heard too. But of course it's his brother. But yeah, so the Ford Fiesta just advertised Apocalypse Now with John Kaiser, Empire Strikes Back with Chance Ellison, and Raiders of the Lost Ark with Dan Murrell are the next 3 episodes.
Ooh,
so yeah, we're
good.
Nice.
I'm excited. That's awesome.
Gonna be a lot of fun. And then we're in the pipeline of Harrison Ford's 80s, man. It's gonna be fun. And we got a lot of great people lined up for upcoming shows too.
Fantastic.
Everybody who's watching will definitely know. So that's what's fun thing too, is like you look back on the old YouTube archives of the old movie guys is like, we didn't know as many, people who could come in and talk, about this sort of stuff. So it's like, oh, okay. So we started saying, hey, what Harrison, just to go into a Schmoes taping and you're like, what Harrison Ford movie do you want to come on for? So we filled up the list, Mara's coming on and Smets is coming on. And so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Yeah. So Ford Fiesta everywhere.
So no one's claimed Extraordinary Measures yet?
I don't know. Are you on the list for that if it hasn't been claimed?
I'm just joking. I have never seen it, much like
now we're going to make you do it, Jeff.
Hey,
Jeff Paul, guess who was a smart ass?
Awesome. Jeff, where can people find you?
Here.
There. And everywhere.
You could find me in Philly, but you can also find me on here when we do this stuff on Mondays. I don't know what I'm doing with the other channel right now. I know my old co-host there, Buck, is currently doing
Bases Loaded
stuff, Bases Loaded shows on Mondays, 10 o'clock Eastern. So I know that's going live right there. Myself, I'm still figuring out what I want to do. I want to get back to doing another Disaster Piece Theater, which is just a watch along to a notoriously bad movie where we drink along to it. I have a couple ideas of what I would like to do next. It's a matter of getting the crew together to actually do it. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Other than that, not sure. We'll see.
Fishburne says, as someone with a son named after Harrison Ford, I'd like to throw my fedora into the ring.
Nice. Is his son named Harrison or Ford? Both are great, acceptable first names.
Fantastic names.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And as for me, you can find me on Twitter, Allison Salamoni. You've never seen it. Tomorrow's episode is dropping with, I was joined by the wonderful AJ Lancaster to talk about Sorry to Bother You, Boots Riley's directorial debut. What a wild third act.
I hate that movie.
That's all. And then the following week, I have the movie guys with me talking about Blade Runner, but this is the one for tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can also follow that on Twitter at Never Seen It, FNR, as well as Flick and Reel and Jesse and all of that stuff. So, so that drops wherever you get audio podcasts, as well as it will be up on our YouTube channel.
And
just watch Travis's kid is actually named
Harrison Ford Fishburne.
Mac Tannen.
Harrison Ford Fishburne. I think we figured it out.
Watch his kid's name actually be Mac after Mac Tannen, Harrison Ford's character in Anchorman 2: The Legend Continues.
Matt,
we're just talking about movies.
Who's also a werewolf?
Matt, what do we got coming up on Watt?
All right, so tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., my review of Ms. Marvel, the first 2 episodes are out for me at least. You guys,
they are.
For me at least, because I got my press screeners.
Great.
You guys can see at least the first one this upcoming Wednesday. But hear my thoughts on the first 2 tomorrow at 9 a.m. Either tomorrow night or Wednesday, you're gonna get my review on Jurassic World Dominion.
Damn.
And then on Monday,
you got a screener for that too.
You get my review for Lightyear on Monday.
Oh my God! Look at you, insider. Oh my God.
That's just the perks of being in a small market.
Where do you live?
Cleveland.
Oh, wow, that's
in
right.
Ohio.
I don't understand how Cleveland gets all that shit, and I can't even find early screenings of stuff here in Philadelphia, which is arguably a bigger, better city than fucking Cleveland. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, before
I won't hear any of that about Cleveland. Cleveland's a great place. I didn't grow up there or anything, but that's a great town.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't say it was a bad place.
Well, before we get
Jeff
out
goes
here,
there about 2-3 times a year, so he'd never say that.
Make sure, if you aren't already, following Spin from the Reel on Twitter at Spin from the Reel. Follow Watt at Watt Real Entertainment. And as we head out, Jeff, do you want to say the final famous line?
Oh yes. Make sure to always
spay and neuter your
spay and neuter your pets.
No.
Put that apple teeny down.
Sweep up. Yeah, put that apple teeny down. Come out and work out there in Hollywood's Griffith Park, where it lives and works. No, but make sure to, as of course, make sure to like, subscribe, Send in Streamlabs if you ever feel so generous. And always make sure to spin from the wheel, not the pegs.